Welcome back, thrill seeker, to the Urban Rabbit Podcast, the show where we don't just go down the rabbit hole, but we live in it. I'm your host, Emery Vallon, and tonight's episode isn't about ghosts, aliens, or secret societies. Not entirely. This story is a reminder that sometimes the most chilling conspiracies don't come from fiction, but from declassified government files. Buckle in, because tonight we're uncovering Operation Northwoods, a real United States military plan to stage terror attacks on American soil and blame it on Cuba. Let's set the stage. It's the early 1960s. The Cold War is peaking. The Bay of Pigs invasion had just failed. Fidel Castro had cemented his grip on Cuba, just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, and paranoia in Washington was like oxygen. Communism was spreading, and the fear of a red domino effect gripped American military strategists. Enter the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranking military officials in the United States. These were not fringe extremists. These were men in uniforms, respected, and appointed by the president. And they had a problem. The White House wanted to take down Fidel Castro, but there was no public support for a war in Cuba. So they came up with a solution. It was called Operation Northwoods. In 1997, the National Security Archive released previously classified documents under the Freedom of Information Act. Among them was a memo dated March 13, 1962, titled Justification for United States Military Intervention in Cuba. What followed was arguably one of the most disturbing sets of proposals ever put to paper by the United States military. Here are a few real direct quotes and proposed actions. We could develop a communist Cuban terror campaign in the Miami area, in other Florida cities, and even in Washington. We could sink a boatload of Cuban refugees en route to Florida, real or simulated. We could blow up a United States ship in Guantanamo Bay and blame Cuba. We could simulate a hijacking of a commercial airliner and make it appear that Cuba was responsible. They even discussed staging fake funerals for fabricated victims. The goal? Manufacture outrage, create false flag attacks, and manipulate the American public into supporting a war. This wasn't just idle brainstorming. This plan was formally presented to the Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara. And here's where it gets even wilder. President John F. Kennedy rejected the plan. He was reportedly horrified. Just months later, JFK began to clash more deeply with the intelligence community and military brass, especially over Cuba and Vietnam. Some researchers, like former Washington Post journalist James Bamford, author of Body of Secrets, believe Operation Northwoods reveals just how far elements of the U.S. government were willing to go. And this isn't fringe speculation. Even Bamford, once a consultant for PBS and a seasoned investigative journalist, stated, Operation Northwoods may be the most corrupt plan ever created by the U.S. government. Despite being 100% real and publicly available for over 2 decades, Operation Northwoods is rarely taught in schools, barely discussed in mainstream media, and conveniently absent from patriotic history narratives. Why? Because it shatters the illusion that our government would never do that, and it sets a dangerous precedent. If the government was willing to stage terror attacks in the 60s, what are they capable of now? It also fuels speculation around other controversial events, like the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which got the U.S. into Vietnam and was later revealed to be, at best, exaggerated, or more modern discussions around false flags and controlled narratives. Now, to be clear, Operation Northwoods was never implemented. JFK shut it down. But its existence proves that such extreme deception was not only possible, it was seriously planned. It shows that high-ranking officials within a democratic government can, and will, propose manipulating their own people if it serves a perceived greater good. And here's the kicker. Not a single person was punished for suggesting these plans. No trials, no firings, just paperwork. And that, thrill seeker, is the true tale of Operation Northwoods, the real conspiracy that sat in the halls of power. If you ever thought conspiracies were just late-night talk show material, think again. You've just heard a story buried under decades of dust and silence. But not anymore. Share it. Question it. Look deeper. I'm Emery Vallon, and this has been the Urban Rabbit Podcast. Until next time, Keep your ears open and your mind sharper. You never know who's writing the next chapter in the shadows.